Hello, and thank you for watching my video. My name is Brian, and in this video we will be adding a Cisco ASA Firewall to the XYZ Corp network we built in the two previous videos. Topics covered in this exercise: adding ASA Firewall for internet access, updating the license key on ASA, configuring inside and outside VLANs, adding NAT/PAT for inside addresses, configure class map, policy map and service policy, test connectivity to outside addresses with ping. For ease of demonstration, we will be using Cisco's packet tracer program, which can be found on cisco.com. We are going to use the network from the previous video's CIDR and growing the network. Today we give the workers on our network access to the internet. Needless to say, they are pretty happy. In order to connect to the internet, we are going to add an ISP connection and a Cisco ASA Firewall. ASA stands for Adaptive Security Appliance. This will be the first in several ASA videos I plan on doing. As you can see, I've already added the ISP router with an interface ready to connect to our network using a public IP. I also added a server connected to one of the ISP router interfaces so we can test connectivity. In order to connect to the internet, we are going to use a firewall. A firewall in its most basic terms is a device that controls, or filters incoming and outgoing traffic from a network. Let's add the firewall. I'm going to use the 5505 ASA. Let's take a look at the physical interfaces available. Next, we check the license key to see if we are running base IP or the Security Plus license that will allow for up to 20 VLANs. We can see this with the show version command, or we can also run the show activation key command. We can see that this is the base version. We can update the version with an activation key we would get from our Cisco rep. We update the license using the activation key and paste in the license key we were given. Then the ASA needs to reboot using the reload command. I want to point out that the 5500 series ASA firewalls are no longer supported by Cisco but are the only ones in packet tracer, so I am using them. A lot of what I am going to do is transferable in concept to other types of firewalls. Here we see that the license was updated from the base license to the Security Plus license. Let's cable the ASA to the ISP router. Then let's cable it to the HQ corporate router. Let's make a label for the ASA outside public IP address given to us from the ISP 2.2.2.1. and another for the IP connecting the ASA to the corporate router using another private address 172.16.1.2. Let's look at the ISP router and see that the interfaces are already configured. Here is the customer-facing interface. Here is the interface configured with a public IP address for the internet server we have set up for testing connectivity. Now double-check the corporate router and verify its interface is configured to connect to the firewall. Looks good. Now we can configure the firewall. Let's check current configuration. On this firewall, we will not configure the interfaces with IP addressing. Instead, we configure VLANs with the IPs and then assign the VLAN to the physical interface. First up, VLAN 1. Add the IP address that will be connected to the corporate router. Then assign the interface name with the name if command. This one we label inside as it is the interface inside our network. When we configure the name as inside, the security level is automatically set to 100. We can also set this manually via the command security level. We'll talk about security levels on this firewall in just a minute. Now interface VLAN 2. Configure the public IP address the ISP assigned to us. Give it the name of outside, once again using the name if command. And we can see that the security level for outside is set to 0. The easy way I remember how the security levels work is firewall traffic flows just like water, from high to low. So traffic on the inside, with the security level of 100 can flow to the outside with the security level of 0, but traffic from outside with security level 0 cannot go to the inside with security level 100, unless we make exceptions with firewall rules. Let's assign the VLANs to the physical interfaces on the ASA. Ethernet 0/0 we will assign to the inside VLAN 1. Ethernet 0/1 we will assign the outside VLAN 2. Let's see if we can ping the ISP router interface. Good. Now the corporate router interface. Yes. We can run show interface IP brief command. This command is similar to what we use on the routers, but on the router it's show IP interface brief. Let's can also do a show IP command to also see the VLAN's IP addresses. And we can check VLAN port assignments with the show switch VLAN command. We need to add a few static routes to the ASA. We first will set the default gateway to the IP address of the ISP router interface. The command is route outside 0.0.0.0 space 0.0.0.0 space 2.2.2.2 space 1. The 1 is the metric or number of hops to that interface. We also need to add a static route to the corporate private IPs for the 10 subnet. We need to add a default route to the corporate router as well. We sending all traffic we don't have routes for to the ASA. Back to the ASA. Now we can build the NAT configuration, or really it's going to be PAT, port address translation, because we will be using the one outside IP address to translate all of private 10. Addresses on the inside of the corporate network. First we create the object. If we look, we have a few options for object. We're going to choose network and name it inside. Next add the subnet to the object. Then the NAT command, parenthesis, inside, comma, outside, close parenthesis, dynamic space interface. This is last part is setting up the port address translation. Now we build the class map, this part that tells it what traffic we want to look for. Command is class map, name it what you want. I'm naming this one inspect default. Match, you can see the different options. We choose default inspection traffic because it includes ICMP that we will use to test. Then we build the policy map, name it what you want. I'm calling this one global policy. Enter. Class, this will be the class map we built. Inspect default. Enter. Inspect, see the options. We want ICMP for ping tests. And finally, to put it all in use, we set the service policy, same name as the policy map, global policy, and assign it global. The other option is to the interface. We are set to start running ping tests from our corporate computers. We'll ping the IP address of the Internet Server 8.8.8.8. And we have success. Let's try a test from our branch office. The destination host is unreachable. This is usually a route issue. Let's check the branch office for a default route. No default route, so let's add one and try the ping test again. Success. Let's save the configurations. On the ASA you have to use the full copy running config, startup config command. This command also works on the routers and switches, but they can also use the write mem command to save the configuration. Like this. Let's add our visual representation for the outside network to our packet tracer layout. All done. Let's recap. 1. Upgraded activation key for license. 2. Configured ASA VLANs for inside and outside use. 3. Applied VLANs to physical interfaces. 4. Added default routes. 5. Configured PAT by creating object, class map, policy map and service policy. 6. Verified connectivity. 7. And always document. Thanks again for watching, and please give a like and subscribe so you will be notified when more videos are uploaded.